Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Christine. Today we are somewhere a little bit different. I'm actually in Seattle right now and I'm filming in the laundry room. I wanted to do this in the bathroom as kind of like a little chill, get ready with me, kind of like inspired by the Vogue tutorials. And it's been a while since I did an updated makeup tutorial, so I'm going to show you some of the products that I packed with me to Seattle. A lot of the products that I've been using a lot lately, and I've been traveling a lot, and so I haven't been playing with a lot of new makeup. It's more tried and true, a lot of my favorites and holy grails. I have a couple of new things to try out with you, so I'm excited for this look. We're going to focus a lot on skin and really just going for a great everyday look. So I hope you guys are excited. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So it has been pretty dry and cold here in Seattle, so I've been focusing a lot on skin prep, just making sure the skin is really nice and hydrated before we go ahead and dive in with the rest of the look. If you guys have watched any of my makeup videos before, Get Ready With Me, you know I'm all about skin first, makeup second. Once you have a good base, everything is going to be so much easier. And I did recently get my eyebrows laminated and my lashes lifted, so it just makes getting ready all the more easier. Highly recommend if you haven't tried it yet. We're gonna first go in with a primer, and I don't normally prime my skin, but I saw a video on Alana Davidson's YouTube and she talked about this primer and I had it sitting in my drawer, so I thought let's try it out. This is the Nano Blur Primer. A lot of makeup artists have talked about this primer and I think it was on Euphoria, if I'm not mistaken. So I have like oily, acne prone skin, so we're mainly going to apply that in my T-zone areas where I just want my pores to look a little bit smaller. I lately have not been wearing a whole lot of foundation. I've been reaching more for a full coverage concealer to kind of use all over my face, and I feel like I want more of my skin to show through anyways. It just makes it look so much more natural. So this is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This is the Ethereal Light in the shade Pecan. I'm also filming on a new camera. This is the Nikon Z30. I just posted like a full-on review video about this little camera, and it's the one I brought with me to Seattle. It's nice and compact and it's great for like vlogging. There's a little flip screen as well, so that's what I'm looking at over here in the corner. I'm gonna take this concealer and kind of cover up any redness that I have, dark circles, all of that. And then the secret to a base that looks flawless is to let it marinate for like a couple of minutes, and this just makes the concealer a little bit more full coverage. And I actually have been really enjoying this concealer. It gives really good coverage, it blends really easily, and it doesn't crease super easily, and really good. So while that sets, let's go ahead and curl the eyelashes. You can see my eyelashes are already pretty curled because I just got them lifted. Getting your lashes lifted just really helps hold the curl all day. If you're like me and you have really straight lashes, this has been such a game changer. And I feel like when I come home to visit for the holidays too, I just am so lazy with makeup. Having my lashes already curled and my eyebrows done just makes me look so much more put together even where I'm wearing no makeup, so highly recommend. I'll go ahead and list all the products down below as well, but I thought it'd be fun in this video to talk about some life-changing advice. I feel like visiting home always is kind of like a fun reminder of like how different things were a couple years ago when I was like living home and wanting to do so much more with my life, you know what I mean? So I thought it would be kind of a fun little get ready with me topic to talk about, especially now that I'm 28. Brand and I live in California, we're planning our wedding, we're traveling lots. So my number one piece of advice that changed my life is it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. This really applied to me while I was in college because I actually was living at home with my parents and commuting to school every single day. I went to UW. I was always asking for their permission. I was waiting to see if everything was okay with them, if it was allowed, if I can do certain things with my life. I wasn't allowed to have sleepovers at friends' house. I didn't get my car until I was like 20, and then I didn't even learn to drive until I was 18. I didn't have a phone that I could text with until I was like out of high school pretty much. And I feel like all throughout my life, because I was the oldest child, my parents were always just super strict with me. So once I got to college, I guess I just got kind of sick of that and kind of tired of waiting around for them. And in a lot of my older videos, I talk about Gary Vee a lot, but I listened to a lot of his podcasts. And a lot of the advice that he had to give, I really related to that and kind of applied it to my life. And This was a quote from one of his podcasts that I one day was just really sick of asking for my parents' permission, so I just started doing things without asking them, and then later kind of dealing with the consequences, asking for forgiveness. Sophomore year of college, I finally moved out of my parents' house and I kind of just did it. I didn't even ask them. I just got another job and started paying for rent by myself, and I just figured that if I wanted things in my life to happen, I just had to kind of take it into my own hands and stop waiting around for my parents to approve of this. Even with my degree, I wanted to originally study engineering, and once I decided that it wasn't for me and I told my parents about it, it was like the biggest, most traumatic deal. And one thing that I learned is with everything, your parents eventually move on. I moved out, I started studying a different degree that I wanted to study. Even after college, when I told them I wanted to eventually quit my full-time job and move to LA and become a content creator, that was also another really big, I guess, pivotal point of my life, and I didn't wait around for them to say yes or no. Kind of just did it, and that worked out for me in many ways than just one. So highly recommend, if you can stop relying on your parents for things and just stop asking for permission and just do things because it's what you want, it will definitely change your life. It almost forces you to have to be successful, because if you're like me, I was so scared of being a failure that I feel like I was extra determined to make things work. Another piece of advice that changed my life: don't take advice from someone that's not living your dream life. And this was definitely a big thing that I learned, because like obviously we love and adore our parents, but a lot of the times they're not living the dream life that we want to live. So why are you taking advice from them? Obviously I love my parents and they played a big role in my life growing up. I just think being the oldest sister, I experienced a lot of really difficult parenting. I was like their first child, so they're kind of like learning how to parent. This can also apply to friendships. A lot of times you have friends that try to project their insecurities onto you and trying to tell you what you can and can't do, but a lot of the times if these people aren't living the life that you want to live, why are you taking advice from them? You know what I mean? Like, especially if you have strangers on the internet that tell you you aren't good enough, that you cannot succeed in what you want to do. If they're not successful in what you want to do, their advice does not apply to you. And that was for me too. Like when I first wanted to be an influencer, my parents would always tell me that this is not a viable career option, this is not something that you can be successful in. But none of my parents are successful influencers. None of my family knows how the business works, and so that's kind of something that you have to take initiative on your own. And you can either take advice from someone that is already in the field, that is successful, or you can choose to respectfully not listen to their opinions and figure it out for yourself. This was another piece of advice I took from Gary Vee's podcast. Obviously a lot of the stuff that he had to say really resonated with me. Another piece of advice that I kind of learned myself is that money comes and goes. And one of the most memorable trips I had of my life was when I went to Japan in 2019, and this was actually a trip that was really spontaneous. I went on with my girlfriends, and at the time I actually didn't have a whole lot of money. I remember I charged a lot of things to my credit card. I was really young and I had just moved to California, so I wasn't really working like a full-time job or anything like that. I was just getting started as an influencer and I wasn't really making like any significant amount of money yet, but I wanted to go on this trip to Japan with my girlfriends and kind of just made it work. I didn't spend outside of my means. I wasn't like buying anything extravagant or anything like that. One of my friends had a condo in Japan and she was working abroad, so we were able to stay with her and save some money there. But that trip was one of the most memorable trips of my life, and I'm so glad that I went and made it happen. If I just knew no matter what, I was gonna make it work, it ended up being the best decision ever. I feel like so many times, especially when you are young, when you have opportunities to travel and do things that might require you to spend a little bit more money than you're comfortable with, sometimes it could be the best, most memorable thing that you can do. And I always say that things will always work itself out, especially when it comes down to money. And that was a scary thing for me too. When I quit my full-time job, I obviously was very concerned about money, not having a stable income or salary, but as you can see, obviously things always work out and there's always a backup plan. If something doesn't work out, you could always revert back to your degree, moving back home, saving money. In some of my earlier videos too, I talk about how I moved out of my parents' house when Bear and I had a little bit of a rough patch. Him and I were living together at the time, and while I was living with him, I was able to save a lot of money. But once him and I hit a rough patch, I moved into my own place on my own, and I just picked up another job, and I think I was working like 2 or 3 jobs at the time, and I just made it work instead of deciding to move back home into my parents' house, because I just knew that was going to be a big step backwards. It was like a really scary decision to like move into my own apartment by myself again after all of that, because I just didn't have any money and paying rent on my own was just so expensive. But I knew I was going to make it work. The money was going to work itself out, and it was so worth having to deal with all of that hardship and not taking a step back and moving back into my parents' house. Another tip that changed my life is that if it doesn't affect you in 5 years, don't let it affect you for more than 5 minutes. Did a lot of dumb things in college, okay? I was living in a house with some roommates, and I remember I was backing my car out of the driveway and I hit one of my roommates' car, and I had just gotten this dent in my car fixed like literally weeks before. I remember like getting out of the car, looking at the dents on both his and my car that I would have to pay to fix, and it was just one of those things that was like, well, it's already done. There's no use like being stressed or throwing a fit about it because it's not going to change anything, so we might as well just deal with it. So there's no point in stressing out about it. And now it's been more than 5 years after that incident, and I don't think about it anymore. So obviously it was not worth any of the freaking out or any of that. I also was not planning on doing eyeshadow, but I just got carried away with the talking, so here we are. This is a Jason Wu palette. Matte eyeshadows that I really enjoy. Last piece of advice is to curate your friend circle. Water what grows you, and I talk about toxic friendships all the time. I've had my fair share of friends that I no longer talk to, and we've had our friend breakups, and it's hard, but you kind of move on. Sometimes you just drift apart from people and you realize that you're not as similar anymore, and it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There doesn't have to be drama with like growing apart from friends. You kind of just have to like accept it and move on. I've had other instances with girlfriends of mine where it was a very dramatic situation and we realized that just it wasn't a right fit, and I've moved on with my life and I'm no longer friends with some of these girls. As I've gotten older, I've just realized how important it is to curate a friend circle, to have people around you that are just always super supportive and encouraging and just like good energy. I just don't really have time for negative friends anymore. You do become the people that you're surrounded with, so it is super important to constantly be very selective of who you give your energy out to and the people that you surround yourself with. I've also had people message me about like becoming an influencer, like people that are worried about what will your friends think, what if my friends don't support me, what if people would judge you for trying to be an influencer or whatever you decide to do with your life. Your friends should always support you and encourage that, and people that make you feel like shit for making a big decision about your life are not your real friends. If you have people in your life that want to be petty about you posting pretty pictures of yourself on Instagram, like those are probably people that you can afford to distance yourself with. And if they in a couple years decide that they still don't want to support you or be positive, then that's not people that you need to have in your life. You know, I have different friend groups for different reasons. I have friends that I like to go out with, friends that I like to see in group settings, but my best friends, my closest circle of friends that I share my life with, that I share like really intimate stories with, those are people that I really curate and spend a lot of time with. I will always support what they have going on in their life, and they would do the same for me. So those are the type of people that you always want to surround yourself with. Okay, I just finished the shadow on that eye, and I'm just taking a little bit of face powder, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish my under eye. And I just started doing this with powder because I just find that it helps take away some of that like translucent powder white cast from earlier. Holiday season is always kind of interesting as well because I obviously am originally from Seattle, so when I come home from the holidays we have the big family get-togethers, we have all the aunties come together, and they always have so much to say, they always have so many questions. You don't always have to tell people what you have going on in your life. The aunties don't know all of the little things that I have going on. They don't need to know. They always have so many opinions anyways, and I'm picky with my friend circle as always, but family is one of those things that you can't really, I guess, choose. So kind of just have to keep some things for yourself. I can't control the opinions that they have on me, and that's totally fine. I don't like ever lose sleep about that, because my closest friends will always know what I have going on in my life and always be there to support me. I think I want to do a little baby winged liner just to really smoke out and add a little bit more definition. So I do have a tutorial on how I do my liquid liner. If you're interested, I'll go ahead and link it up in the corner, but I'm just going to speed through this. On a lighter topic, Brand and I have been in Seattle for the last couple of weeks, and I haven't really been vlogging just because I don't know if you guys like the Seattle vlogs. I posted a like Seattle top 10, and in that video I talk about like our favorite things to do in Seattle, some of our favorite restaurants, shopping areas, and I feel like when I come back home it's always super low-key, especially for the holiday season. I'm just like so excited to turn off my phone, get away from the emails and posting for a while, and it's been a nice little break, but I'm excited to get back into posting again and be more active on YouTube too. Once I get home, I wanted to film like a big luxury regrets video that I do every year. And see, that's the thing about getting my brows laminated, is there literally is no product in my brows, and I can just brush them out and they listen to me, which is like the greatest thing ever. About a month ago, Brand and I went to Paris with my mom and my sister, but we already want to go back. There's so many things that Brand and I love to do. We love to vintage shop, we love to explore like little towns and cafes, and I feel like we didn't really get to do that while we were with my mom and sister, so we definitely want to go back. We are in the process of figuring out our wedding venue as well. Finally, it's been over a year since Brand and I got engaged, but I feel like we've been moving very slowly to plan out our wedding and all that, because we don't want to have our wedding until 2024, and that way it gives all of our guests enough time to plan in advance. And we are wanting to do a destination wedding, so we are planning to tour some of the venues that we have. We have like our top 5 favorite venues right now, and we are working with a wedding planner, so that'll be exciting to eventually go to the venues, lock something down, hopefully have a date soon so we can dive into some of the wedding planning content. I feel like my brows need just a little bit more color, so I'm gonna add some brow gel. I also, last year when I was here in Seattle, we went snowboarding quite a few times, and we have yet to go up the mountain, so I think we're gonna try to do that later this week before we leave, which I'm really excited for. So this is the finished look. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'll go ahead and link all the products that I use down below, and I did use a Dyson to blow out my hair, so if you are interested in how I created this hair look and how I've been using my Dyson to style my hair, I'll go ahead and link the tutorial. That should be up before this video. So hope you guys enjoyed getting ready together and chatting, and I can't believe this year has flown by so fast. I hope you all had a great holidays, a great New Year's. My birthday was on December 29th, so I am freshly 28 as well, and I hope you guys found these advice helpful. If there's anything that really resonated with you, let me know down below in the comments. I would love to have a conversation about it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm excited to kick off the new year with lots more videos, some luxury collection videos, lots more travel videos as always, and I appreciate you guys always following and supporting along the journey, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!